All right, good morning, everyone, and welcome to Canvas Assignments. Today, we are going to be going over a variety of options within Canvas Assignments. We will start by looking at the two editing toolbar options for you, the classic and the new rich content editor, or the RCE enhancements. We'll show you how to turn that on so that you understand why, as we're going through, my toolbar may look different than yours. We'll go through setting up a Canvas assignment and some features there. We will also be going over the new Google Assignments LTI, or new Google Assignments integration. To clarify, it is not a Google Classroom integration. It is a little different than that. It looks like the assignments feature in Google Classroom. So we will be going through that. We will show you both the teacher version and the student version of what that new integration looks like, and talk about what it does for you. We will also go into the gradebook and look at a couple of the features within gradebook today. All right. Oh, what did I miss, Mike?
I am posting a link now, everybody, to resources for today's session. That has kind of like tutorial videos and information on everything that Brenda covers. So with over the 266 of us in here, I'm just going to ask that you open up that bit.ly link, and if for some reason you need to go back and reference it, you can reference that training document. Both Brenda and I are going to be going through parts of this session together. So while I will do my best to monitor the chat window and answer questions during this session, we may have to hold. You may see that we're holding a lot of questions till the end after our tutorial piece of the training today. So thanks just for understanding and working with us through that.
Yeah, please do keep that in mind, that if we are not addressing a question right away, it's probably something we are going to cover, or it may get lost in the chat there. So if you can, as much as possible, keep your questions today around the topic of Canvas assignments. That will really help us out in staying focused on this topic for this particular session. So we are scheduled for an hour this morning. We will be going through the webinar portion where I'm walking you through the assignments, again, going through the new Google Assignments integration, and then a little bit in Gradebook. You'll have some time to work. We'll stay in the chat to monitor for questions there and try and address group questions or common themes that we see popping up, or questions we see popping up in the chat. We are recording this, so please keep that in mind if you have your video feed enabled. And we are working on trying to get those videos processed and uploaded, linked into the Canvas site as quickly as we can. We appreciate your patience with that. Some of them take quite a while to edit into something that makes sense for a recorded option, and the processing time for that, which is why we are estimating about a 48-hour turnaround. Some of them are much quicker, some of them take a little bit longer. And then we also have a link on there for you to the PUSD Virtual Teaching Resources site with additional links. And Mike will continue to share the resource link in the chat, as well as I will, as he and I jump back and forth between who is hosting this morning. Okay, I am going to stop this share and get out of there. I hope everyone is doing well this morning. And I'm gonna hop back in now. Okay, and we are talking assignments this morning. So I'm gonna jump into my Canvas course. Before we get to assignments, I want to show you the new rich content editor. I'm actually going to toggle it off for right now so that I can show you kind of the classic view, which is what the default is. This is a setting that varies by course. So what I'm talking about is when I go into a page or an assignment and click on the edit button, I get an editing toolbar up at the top. This is the classic, or the older version of the rich content editor. This is probably the one most of you are familiar with if you have been working in Canvas. You can keep using this one. It's okay. I haven't heard anything from Canvas that it's like disappearing forever or anything like that. And we certainly didn't want to switch this on you district-wide right now. But we do want to show you that you have an option to switch to the new or enhanced rich content editor. I'm going to navigate away from the page here. And in my course, I'm going to scroll all the way down in the bottom left-hand side to settings. And then on the feature options tab, so all the way over on the right-hand side, feature options, I'm looking for the RCE or rich content editor enhancements. I'm going to go ahead and turn that to on. You'll also notice with that you can turn on the RCE auto save. So if you're working on a page or assignment, it will automatically save for you. And the next time you log into that page or a new page, it will ask you, prompt you with a preview that you can look at and ask you if you want to revert to this auto saved version or the one that you already have. Okay. I am going to jump into assignments. I'm going to go in through modules because I know a lot of people are organizing their course that way, but you can go straight into assignments over on the left-hand side. So assignments or within modules, you can, in whatever module you would like, I'm just going to go in here, you can add an assignment. So I'm just choosing assignment from the drop-down menu, clicking on new assignment. And I'm going to call this 3 assignment. Forgetting how to type here. Okay, and then I'm just going to click add item. This is going to pull it into the module in which I created it, and then I can just click on its title. And in here, you're seeing a preview of the assignment. It hasn't been created yet, so there's not a lot there. You'll see that once you create it, you do have the option of adding a rubric to it. And I'm going to go ahead and jump into the edit button. Okay, I had the title of my assignment if I decided that I wanted to change that. I can change it there. I have my rich content editor. You'll see this is now the new RCE. I have a drop-down menu organization in here, as well as the most commonly used pieces going across. So I can include my directions here for students. I can change the font. I can make the font bold. I can highlight if I want to really draw their attention to something. I can change the font size. I can change the font color. So you can kind of liven up your assignments there or your directions there if you need those defaults. Over here on the right-hand side, if you are a math teacher, you've got a whole math. Can you see this pop up?
Yes, I can.
Okay, great. You've got a whole, all these different operators, relationships, arrows, delimiters. You've got all kinds of text features in here if you need any of those for your courses. Alignments, bullet points, all kinds of things. You can also hyperlink to anything within your course if you have resources there. Maybe you want to reference students to a page on which you have embedded YouTube videos. Like if you weren't sure, make sure you go back and review this. You can add those here. You can add to external resources, go out and read this article that we found on Wonderopolis, and then come back and answer the question. So you can link to other resources. You can upload images from your device. You can record or upload media. I would recommend potentially doing this for some of our younger students so that right in here, you can actually record yourself reading the directions to your students. Can you see this pop up?
Yes, we can.
Okay, watching myself on video again. All right, so you can do a quick recording here. I don't recommend using this tool if your recording is going to be longer than about 2 minutes. Just a heads up that the processing time on this built-in recorder is long. So just keeping that in mind. You can also embed video content from somewhere else. Again, if you wanted to embed a link to a resource you'd found out on YouTube or something, or that you had recorded. You can upload different documents, and then you also have some resource tools in here. Ooh, that shouldn't still be showing up. We're working on a benchmark upgrade, but it's not there yet. So
you're gonna start trouble.
I don't, just ignore that. I apologize. This is what I get for like using my test courses that I'm trying things on. Yeah. Don't worry. It's going to be really cool, but it's not there yet. Not there yet. Not working yet. I'm sorry. And then some other text features, you can insert tables, etc. So that whole rich content editor within assignments. Students will also have that. So if you're switching to the new rich content editor, it will also switch your students' toolbar as well. More editing for assignments. You can decide on a point value if you would like to use points. You can see down here that it displays grade as. So you also have a complete or incomplete option. And then assignment groups is something that you can create if you want to lump your assignments together, you want quizzes together, you want assignments together, so that if you're doing some weighting in your grade book, you have those different assignment groups created. It also allows you to filter in your grade book by assignment group. Sorry, just 1 second. I apologize. I have my dog chewing on a rather large or loud toy here, so I'm getting some assistance with that. I apologize for the extra noise. Okay, so you can display the grade however you would like. And then you also have this little checkbox here if you want to count the assignment towards a final grade or not. Your submission type. If you're doing online, on paper, external tool, if they don't need to submit anything. So they're basically just going in, getting the assignment, and then saying that they've completed it, but they're not turning something in, is another option. Most commonly, we're looking at online. Text entry is going to give your students this exact text box and all of the toolbar options. So again, just right within Canvas, they can reply just in text. They can embed or upload images. They can create those short video recordings, all right within Canvas. They don't actually have to go out anywhere else to do that. They can link to other things. They could share website URLs if you were asking them to do some research or go out and find something that shows an example of maybe, I don't know, shows an example of something. Sorry, brain stopped working. All right. If you want to allow them to upload media recordings, file uploads is another option. You can also restrict the upload file types. There we go again with the dogs. I apologize. If you only want them to be able to upload certain things, if you're asking for an image file, maybe you want to limit it to PNG or JPEG. You have all of those different options. The one you're going to want to use if they're sharing something with you from their Google Drive is going to be file uploads. And they will actually get a little tab that takes them right into their drive. And then Turnitin submissions. There are two different ways of using Turnitin. Turnitin is the authenticity checker that is embedded within Canvas for our district. So you can enable Turnitin submissions here, but the recommended route is an external tool. And we're going to be going over external tools in just a bit when we talk about the new Google integration. Okay. Other options you have for assignments: allowed attempts, unlimited or limited, and then you can say how many attempts a student would have. From that, you can then also, for their, it'll give you some options for grading as well, like what attempt you want to count. Okay. And then if you have groups created within Canvas, you can do this as a group assignment. you'll see that it gives you some more options. So you'd put in your group set name. I don't have group set up in here, so it's asking me to do that. But once you have your group set, it will ask you if you want to assign to each student individually, or if you want one group assignment turned in for all of the members of that group. You can require peer reviews, and you can either manually assign students to review each other's work or automatically assign it. So Canvas will match up students for you and tell you how many reviews they have. You can say how many reviews they have to do and what the due date is for that. So it has to come after the due date for the initial assignment so that everybody has to turn it in, and then they have an opportunity to actually do those peer reviews. And then there's also the anonymity feature here. So if you don't want students to know which of their peers was reviewing their work, you can click that box. Okay, then we have Assign To. And in Assign To, you're gonna get a couple different options. So if you are at the secondary level and you have multiple sections in your course, you're gonna see those different sections pop up here. So you might have the same assignment, but you might have different due dates for your different sections, just depending on how you're moving through your curriculum. You'll also see a list of student names. When you first click on this, you're not going to see your whole student list, but I promise if you start typing their name, they will pop up. Now, I only have one student enrolled in this course, so I can't really show you that, but they are there and they will pop up if you need to do some individual student assignments. The other place I've seen this sectioning kind of come up, and we will be covering this in our more in depth in our collaboration in Canvas, which will be on the 24th. I think that's next Monday at 9 and 1. We'll get more into sections and groups in that collaboration one. Okay, then you can go ahead and set your due date. You can go down to an actual time if you want on that date. It defaults to midnight. And then you can do an available from and until. So you can kind of lock down student access to assignments and deciding when they can actually open the assignment and submit it. And then you can have an until date. So they won't be able to get into it anymore. So if you don't set those, the assignment will go live. They'll be able, and you publish it. The assignment will go live and they'll be able to access it, and then they can also turn it in late. You'll get a notification that the assignment was turned in late if it's turned in past that due date, but students will still be able to access it. So if you do an available from and until, it locks down when they can get to that assignment. You can save without publishing, and then students won't be able to open it if you need to do some more work, or if you're kind of working ahead of time and you want to go back and look at it again. Or if you're ready for students to access, you can go ahead and click on Save and Publish. So that is assignments. The rubrics that you can add, so you have to actually create and title an assignment before you'll see this Add Rubric button. We saw it right away because we created it through the modules view, but if you create it straight through the assignments tab, you actually have to save the assignment with a name and then go back in and click on it, and you'll see this Add Rubric button. You can build a rubric right within Canvas, and this will show up in the speed grader as well as a clickable, I don't know that it's actually a document, but you can actually just click through the rubric to grade the students. And you can search for rubrics if you have some in different courses, or if people have shared them out. And you can also manage your rubrics or just create one right within here. So I can add additional points and add those to different assignments. You have some more options right in here as well. Okay. So, Mike, are we doing okay? Do we need any questions on just Canvas assignments in general?
I'm working through it. I think they're all pretty individualized, so why don't we just continue?
Okay, sounds good. All right, so next up we are going to talk about, I apologize again, I don't know why the dog has decided she needs to be right next to me today, but there she is. So I don't know if you can see her or not. All right, entertainment here. Okay, So we are going to now show you what it looks like to use the new Google Assignments integration. Yay! I can hear you all cheering. I know you're super excited. I'm going to go into assignments this time because last time we went through modules view just to give you a different look. I'm going to go ahead and click on the plus assignment or add assignment. And I'm going to call this my third Google integration. And just so you guys know, as we go through this one, Mike and I are going to be switching back and forth. There are going to be some pop-ups, so I'm going to have to like pause my screen share and switch to a different screen view. So just so you know, it's actually a smoother flow than what it might look like as we're doing this, but we want you to be able to see all sides of this new integration. Okay, so right here, I'm going to add in my directions for students. Again, I have all the same options that we just ran through in the regular Canvas assignment. I'm going to scroll down. So 2 things that you need to make sure match on the Canvas side and on the Google assignment side are the points. The point value has to match and the due date have to match. So point value and due date. You need to remember what you set your points as on the Canvas side and on the Google side. So keeping those things in mind. Again, you have the same options for grouping. I haven't tried doing just complete or incomplete, but I guess I could do that on here. I haven't tried that yet. Look at that. All right. And then when we get down to submission type, I'm actually going to click right here where it says online, and I'm going to go scroll down to external tool. When I do this, I get a new window here that asks me to find the external tool that I want. So I'm going to go ahead and click on find. This is going to give me a pop-up with a whole bunch of options in here. Again, ignore that benchmark universe for now. All right, I'm going to scroll down. These are all these external tools or LTIs that we have in Canvas. I'm still going. I'm going all the way down. This is alphabetical. And I am looking for Google Assignments. I apologize, I can't change the order of this. I can't change the naming conventions of this. So please don't confuse the new one with the old Google Docs Cloud assignment. We're staying away from that one. Just Google Assignments. If you aren't saying it in your head already, Google Assignments. All right, Google Assignments. This is gonna give me a pop-up. Can you see this?
Yes, we can see this.
Okay, I think the next one is where it switches. So when I do this for the first time in a course, so this is a course level integration. When I do this for the first time in a course, it's gonna ask me to verify and link my accounts. I wanna make sure that I'm in my Poway account. I'm gonna click on link. Okay, you can't see that pop up though, can you?
I cannot.
Okay, so I'm gonna pause share. I'm gonna new share. Okay, am I on the right one?
Brenda, no, you are not.
Ugh, okay. That one?
Nope.
Sorry. Okay, I'm gonna find it.
So many windows.
There are so many windows. Link Google account? Are you seeing it?
We see link resources for external tool, Google Assignments, and your profile is the only pop-up that we are currently seeing, Brenda.
Okay, wait. Resume share. Are you seeing it now? Link Google account.
Yes, we see link Google account.
Okay, you can see my, all right.
I see your cursor.
Google Assignments at the top. Assignments will.
Yes.
Okay, perfect. All right, sorry about that. Okay, moving on. Now we're going down to link again. So that's 2 links to the Google. Again, this is a course level process, so you shouldn't have to do this every time. Now, this should look very familiar. This should remind those of you who have used Google Classroom in the past of your Google Assignments creation.
And can I just say one thing, Brenda, real quick? You correct that you do not have to create a Google Classroom in order to use the Google Assignments feature in Canvas. You can just create assignments through these steps.
Yes. Exactly. You do not need to go create a Google Classroom in order to do this. This is all through Canvas.
And
So,
they will force copies and create folders and organize them like what if you used Google Classroom in the past.
exactly. So you're pulling in the assignments features, like making a copy of any attached files for every student, renaming it with your assignment title and the student name in front of it, putting that on the student's Google Drive, and also creating an assignments folder, followed by a folder with your course title, and we'll show you this, followed by a folder with the assignment title and all of the students' work in there. So you have access to that live doc or slide that is shared between you and the student. So all of that great Google Classroom organization that happened in the background for you will now happen straight through Canvas without you needing to create a separate Google Classroom. Okay. On my assignment, I can turn on the plagiarism or originality checker. I don't really know that much about the one that's built into Google, but you're welcome to turn it on if you're using that. I do not know. I feel this question coming because we just talked about Turnitin a little bit. I don't know if those two integrations work together. I don't know. I don't know. Haven't even had a chance to look at that or think about it. Okay, files. We're going to attach something. So this is if you want to provide your students with a template. You don't have to do this, but this is that feature that so many of us loved out of Google Classroom, right? Is that it's going to make a copy for all of my students and rename it. You can see it's there. You can see it goes right to each student will get a copy, okay? You don't have to do that. Students can still, you can still use this integration without doing a template, without providing them with a copy of something. But I know that is a feature that a lot of us loved. Okay, down at the bottom here, this is where I want to make sure that my total points that I put in the Canvas side match. So I had put in 10 points. I'm going to put 10 points here on the Google side. I am going to select my due date. I'm going to make it due tomorrow. Done. And then I can add a rubric here if you want to. I think you can create a new one. If you already have one, you can reuse it, or you can import one if you have them in Sheets. I had created just a really basic sample one, so it's taking me into, oh, not for that course. Okay, well, I think it was in this one. If you have it in different courses, it'll find in Canvas, different Canvas courses, it'll find it for you. You can add that. Okay, so points and due date. I haven't entered the due date in Canvas yet, so I want to remember what that is. And then I'm going to go ahead and click create. Oh, sorry. You can attach multiple files here. So you'll see that attach pops up again. So if you have multiple resources you want to provide students with copies of, you can attach multiple ones in one assignment. Okay, I'm going to click create. Okay, and then I have to screen share again. Here we go. Oh, okay, and share. Okay, can you see the configure external tool?
Yes, we can.
Perfect. Okay, I know this looks a lot like where we just were, only it said find, and now it says select, and you need to click on select. So don't close out of this. If you do, you just lost everything you just did. So I'm going to click on select. And then Mike and I were experimenting with this, and we decided that we preferred not to load in a new tab, right? Do you remember?
Correct.
Okay.
It was cleaner it looked cleaner on the student side if we didn't load it in a separate tab.
Yeah, and it just kind of keeps everything housed within your Canvas window. So we're not going to do that. If you prefer it to go into a new tab, that just means it opens a new tab in your browser window, and you can toggle back and forth between them. Again, you get submission attempts, assign to, where you can differentiate there. And then remember, we are matching the due date to what we put in Canvas. So I said it's due tomorrow, or in Google, in Canvas, both sides. Okay, then I'm going to save and publish. And it's going to take it just a moment to pop up here, but it's going to build that Google assignment window that, again, should look really familiar to those of you who have used Google Classroom. here it is with all of my information in here. I can get back into my assignment settings here, manage people. I can pop this out if I want to look at my assignment more closely. And now we're going to hop over and Mike is going to show you the student view of that. So we just created that Google assignments, integration assignment in Canvas. I feel like I'm saying assignments a lot. All right, Mike, take it away.
And I will say, as we go into it, I realized that it did look like a lot of steps just then. It really is, when you go through it and do it yourself for the first time, it really is quite simple. So yeah. I would say rewatch this video and do a practice assignment would be kind of my best advice. Again, it's an option. It's not what you have to do. So I am a student in this course, and let me just shrink this down. I'm a student in this course, and you can see when I come in, I have over here on the right to do, and I have a bunch of assignments that Brenda has so kindly assigned to me. Yeah. And I'm going to ask my teacher here which assignment I might be doing right now.
Right now, the one I just did is the third Google integration.
Thank you. So the student would click on the assignment. The first time they're going to get this prompt. Correct, Brenda? This is a one-time thing where just like the teacher did, the student has to connect the drive. So welcome to assignments, create and submit. I'm going to go ahead and link accounts. So I'm going to click link. I also get that second pop-up that you probably cannot see. So I'm going to stop my share briefly and reshare. Oh gosh, I lost the pop-up. Hold on. Sorry, do you see it, Brenda? You do not, right?
We see welcome to assignments.
Okay, hold on one second, I apologize. So again, just like—
Here we go, okay. The second link screen.
Just like you did on the teacher side, you get this second link. Your students will get a second link screen, and they're going to link a second time. Again, that's at the course level, and it's a one-time thing for them to do. That connects their Google Drive and allows them to, store their docs. Okay. So now it automatically closed my screen share on me.
Yeah, because that pop-up closed. Did the same thing to me.
And so at that point, your students will be right into this screen where they see their assignment. They can see the name of the assignment, the number of points, the due date, the fact that it's assigned. They'll be able to open, there's attached files, and they can click open assignment to open the assignment.
And so then notice too that opened a new tab. So up at the top, Mike, if you want to point out where your Canvas tab and then that Google Assignments tab.
Correct. So this tab stayed open, and the assignment, I don't know,
it's right next to it with the little blue check mark.
I know, I have to move, I have to move my Zoom things out of the way. And this is the actual Google assignment itself. So at this point, your students can click on the assignment. You'll notice that I put my name here, that it made a copy of the assignment, and I can go in and make changes and submit to my teacher. Now, the one thing to note that is a bit confusing and might be a bit confusing for your students is that they do not need to share this. Because it's a Google Doc, it's a live doc, it's automatically saved. So all they have to do at this point is complete the assignment and then just move on. So I can actually close this window completely once I'm done making my changes, but there's nothing else on the student side for them to do on this screen. Correct, Brenda?
Yes, you just want to make sure that they go back to—
Right,
yeah.
So now we want to go back to the assignment screen. It has updated and saved automatically, and now I have the option to submit the assignment and click submit. Do you see this pop up, Brenda?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, so it's asking, make sure that you want to submit the assignment, and I'm going to go ahead and say submit again. And then they'll get a notification that they are all set.
Awesome.
Now, Brenda, as the teacher, will get a notification that the assignment has been submitted.
Right. So we're going to hop back into teacher view. And I'm not in the chat window, but I see like little portions of it popping up with your questions. If you could please just stick with us. We're going to go over a lot of the questions I'm seeing pop up in the chat. Okay, so here we are. I'm going to refresh my screen, and I'm going to see that Mike has submitted an assignment here. And you have, I'm going to go ahead and click on his assignment. This should look pretty familiar, again, to those of you with Google Classroom experience. And I have my grading options here. I can enter a grade for him here. I can access my rubric here, where I can click to provide his score on that rubric. I can add feedback. Such a wonderful improvement from last time, Mike. All right. And then you'll see up at the top, I can return. I also have the toggle buttons to go through students up here next to his name at the top. I have my toolbar in here where I can do all the things I would do in Google as far as feedback. And then I can return this to him. I can return just this one, or if I had gone through multiple submissions, I could return those to the student as well. You could also do that as a, maybe take one more pass at this. It looks like you forgot your capitalization or punctuation. You can see that it records all my feedback in here. Okay, and then, do we want to jump back and show what you're receiving, Mike?
Yes, let me do that. I think they'll want to see it from the student side. So, and let's see. So I came back to my home screen, and you'll notice I see recent feedback, third Google integration, 10 out of 10. A student can click on that, and they can see. They can see their grade. They can see any comments by the teacher. If there's a rubric attached, you'll see rubric results as well.
And then you'll also see over on the right, the feedback from the student. And again, they can record a media comment here for you. Again, this is that Canvas embedded recorder. So they can record information back to you and save it, and then you'll be notified of that on the teacher side as well. All right, and then I think we want to jump into and show you what that looks like in the gradebook from the teacher perspective. So this does have gradebook integration. Remember, any assignments that you create in Canvas, including these Google integrated pieces, are going to show up on the student's Canvas calendar. Anything you give a due date to, it's going to go on their calendar on that due date. It will be clickable, accessible from the calendar. It's going to show up in their to-do list on their dashboard. It's going to show up on their to-do list or upcoming assignments list within the course. So they have multiple ways of seeing it. It's a great way of helping our families kind of stay organized by having all of those due dates and accessibility in one place. I'm going to hop back into
the other thing I want to just reiterate is the Google Assignments tool is an option for teachers. So just remember, you can create assignments the first way we showed, just in Canvas, the regular Canvas assignment. The reason why we're showing the Google Assignments integration is a lot of teachers used Google Classroom in the past, and this is gives a lot of the features of assignments within Classroom. So it's just two options for you that exist within Canvas.
Yeah. And then you'll see that the grade that he received is right here in the grade book. So it transfers over. You also get an option here. You can sort, you can set default grades for students for that assignment. You can message students who, and again, this is going to give you the option if a student hasn't submitted an assignment yet, you can just message those students. They'll receive it in their Canvas inbox. If they're a student, generally speaking at the secondary level, they've also included a personal email in their contact methods within Canvas, and they will receive a message there that they have a new Canvas message. It'll give them a little blurb about what it is, so they'll know about that in their personal accounts as well. So you have different filtering options here. And you can also include observers if you want to also notify parents, or remove students if you just want to talk to the parents of those students who haven't submitted yet or scored more than or less than a certain amount. And you can then set that if you choose those filtering options. All right. I feel like I thought of one more thing. I think Mike did a great job of emphasizing you do not have to use the Google Assignments integration for assignments. But because Google Classroom was so popular, we wanted to show that to you. And again, I do want to encourage you to try that integration on your own. I know from us going through it, it looked kind of clunky, but once you're used to it, it really is just selecting that external tool piece in there. And then great that it has that gradebook integration for you through Canvas, as well as the calendar integration for due dates. All right, so Mike and I are gonna stay on. I'm gonna probably mute myself. I might turn off the video, but we are still here for a few more minutes trying to answer some questions. Again, please remember, we've got almost 280 people in here. So if we did not get to your question,
what I'm going to do, I've seen a bunch of questions related to SpeedGrader and you know, regular Canvas assignments. We have some resources available for you guys related to that. Brenda, are they on the document from today, or we'll add to it if they're not there? So what we'll do is I'm going to repost the link to today's resources, and I'm going to add a couple things about SpeedGrader, regular Canvas assignments to that, just so that you can make an informed choice as to how you might want to proceed with your students. I think that'll help. So I'm going to post the link right now, actually.
Awesome. Thank you, Mike. Yeah, we'll continue updating as we get questions or feedback on things that you need. The majority of the resources we have linked there you can find by Googling your question. They are the Canvas guides. When you're out there, if you're out there looking for answers to questions on Canvas, often a lot of resources come from different universities. I would just recommend that you go back to the original Canvas community guides, because those are going to be the most accurate for our particular Poway resources and settings within Canvas. A ton of them.
I did have a couple questions as to what it looked like in a student's Google Drive, so I'm going to go ahead and share my screen and show you how it creates folders within your Google Drive.
Yes, I can show that. The teacher.
I've got it.
Okay.
I've got it on the student. So like as a student, you'll notice that it automatically created this folder called assignments. So that will happen, and then within the assignments folders, anything that use this will create its own folder. So we are in here.
The course name and then the assignment name.
Right, so this is the course name to Demo 2020. You remember that the assignment was third Google integration, and here's a copy of my work. So it creates all of those folders for your students.
And then same thing on the teacher side. So on your drive, you'll find an assignments folder, and then within that, the title of your course, and then within that, the title of the assignment. And if you open that, you'll be able to see all of the student submissions. So anything that they have, once they have created it, it will show up in there even before they submit it. So it's all organized for you in the background.
Integration. We don't have test students in Canvas that because Brenda, am I correct that because it creates from Synergy, it's just not something that's possible. You can always work with another teacher and have another teacher enroll you as a student like Brenda and I did in their course to test things out. I think that's probably the best way to go about if you just want to test it, and it's totally okay. You can exist as a student in some courses and teacher in some courses. So think about doing it that way to test some stuff out.
Yeah, and a student view within Canvas will give you a lot of student perspective, especially if you're trying to model something, but it won't work when you get to those external tool integrations like with Google, because it's going to get confused between, it's going to know who you are in the background in Google as yourself, and it's not going to recognize this test student name. So like Mike just said, what we just did, if you have a teacher partner you can enroll in a course as a student, you could then use that perspective. Or ask someone to enroll you as a student and kind of go back and forth. That way you would be able to model it. The reason we don't have test student accounts officially is because of the feed through Synergy, and that is our state reporting as far as funding goes. So there are no test student accounts in the district there.
Brenda, do you want to quickly, can you quickly show how to add a teacher as a student in a course?
Oh, yeah, I'll show you that. And then I saw something too. There is a share feature in Canvas. So if you create an assignment and you want to share it with your teaching buddies, let me show you what that looks like as well. Okay, so in my assignments, if I want to share this assignment with somebody, the 3 dots over here. So again, I'm in assignments in my course menu. 3 dots next to the assignment, I can send to. And if I want to send this to a specific teacher, I just start typing in their email name. I can add multiple teachers in there and then just click send. Mike's going to get a little notification over on the left-hand side global navigation bar. He's going to get one of those little like number 1s here. When he clicks on it, it's going to say, hey, Brenda shared this resource with you. And dog hair's flying. Dogs are taking over my life. Brenda shared this resource with you. What course would you like to put it into? And then, or like, where would you like it to go? And he can click on that and it will pull a copy of the assignment into his course. He can edit it for his own students' needs. And then I totally lost it. What was the other thing I'm showing, Mike?
How to add a teacher as a student.
Okay, so in your course, go into people, plus people, login ID, and then I'm gonna type in April, you're the lucky one. I think you're on here. I might be wrong. I'm just going to type in her email stem, so all the part before the @PowayUSD part. I am going to make sure that the role is set to student, and then I'm going to click on add. Once I'm done with that, it's going to confirm the name for me, and I'm going to go ahead and click add users. April's going to get a notification on her dashboard that she's been invited to join a course as a student. As soon as she hits accept, she will be, and your course is published, she will be in the course and enrolled, and then we can work on the samples or modeling from that student perspective.
I hope that this was a help, gave you at least some options for, pushing assignments to students and how you might be able to do that in the best way for your students specifically. And I thank everyone for participating. And I'm going to stay in the chat for the next couple minutes. Thanks.